Chapter 2, Tulsa. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1998. The glow of a 90s television set flickered in the dimly lit living room, the commentary of Joe Buck providing a steady backdrop to the tension in the room. It was Game 4 of the 1998 World Series. On the screen, the legendary Mariano Rivera stood on the mound, winding up to throw. "And now we have Mariano Rivera," Buck's voice announced. Seated in a cozy armchair was Yona Wati. At 94 years old, his frame was frail, but his eyes were sharp as they locked onto the screen. He wasn't seeing the Yankees closer, he was seeing a ghost of himself. "I was 3 years old when they took my parents from me," Yona whispered, his voice raspy and distant. He raised a trembling finger pointing at Rivera's cutter. "Look," he said, a smile breaking across his weathered face. "I called mine the Dizzy Duck." Standing just out of the television's glow was a young, beautiful news reporter named Jennifer. She held a notepad, her expression one of confusion mixed with impatience. She hadn't come for baseball stories. "Yumna," she interrupted, her voice professional but pressing. "How many years before the riots was this incident?" Yona blinked, the question jarring him from the diamond. "Uncle Oat taught me to throw a baseball," he murmured, ignoring her timeline. "Excuse me?" Jennifer asked, clearly lost. Sitting beside Yona was another elderly man, his sleeve pinned up where an arm used to be. It was Cole Grant, Yona's nephew and lifelong friend. He leaned in, trying to bridge the gap between Yona's memory and the reporter's agenda. "No, Uncle Yona," Cole said gently. "She means how many years?" Yona cut him off, his pride flaring. "I told you, Uncle Oat, my pitch would be famous," he laughed, pointing at the screen again, as if Otis Waters were standing right there in the room. The cameraman from News 6, who had been propped against his equipment, let out a loud sigh. He glanced at Jennifer with an annoyed look. "You know what, Jennifer?" the cameraman said, checking his watch. "I would like to watch the game tonight, too." The interruption snapped Yona back to the present. His gaze shifted from the TV to the intruders in his home. The nostalgia hardened into irritation. "Turn that thing on and shut up," Yona snapped.
"Turn that thing on and shut up."
Taken aback. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Yona barked, his voice finding a sudden, youthful strength. "I said turn that thing on and shut it up." "Uncle?" Cole warned, placing a hand on Yona's arm. Jennifer and the cameraman exchanged awkward glances. Jennifer nodded, signaling him to start the feed. The room fell into a heavy silence. The only sound remaining was the broadcast of the game and Yona's labored breathing. Yona settled back into the cushions. As the room grew quiet, the world around him began to narrow. The vision of the reporter and the camera faded, replaced by the internal rhythm of his own memories. "I was 3 when they killed my mama and daddy," Yona thought, the old grief washing over him. "Uncle Oat took me from my daddy's land and raised me in what would become the Greenwood district. He closed his eyes, taking a deep, shuddering breath. He taught me to throw a ball. He taught me that pitch. He never let life get me down." The voice of Joe Buck faded completely, replaced by a deeper, more resonant voice from the past. A voice that had guided him through the fire and the dust. He'd always say, "Get up, make something of yourself." Yona could hear it now, ringing in his ears as clearly as if it were yesterday. "Get up, get up." "I said get up, Yona."